Hi, I'm Dominique Blocker with City TV. Welcome to Inside Santa Barbara, the city's only news magazine show. We bring you up to date on the city's most significant issues, projects, and events. Well, it's high fire season again, and you need to be prepared. The city's fire department, along with homeowners associations, are working together to create safer, more defendable neighborhoods. In our first story, City TV's Valerie Tysaner shows how you can do your part.
The Zaka Fire, the Gap Fire, the T Fire, the Jesucita Fire. Wildfires in our area aren't just a risk, they're a certainty. We can't control when or where they'll occur, but we can control how we prepare and how we respond. To ensure homes in the high fire hazard areas are as prepared as possible for the next wildfire, the city created the Wildland Fire Suppression Assessment District. Properties within this district pay a special tax, which in turn pays for a number of services. The first step is a defensible space inspection where specially trained firefighters evaluate a property's fire vulnerabilities.
And I spent probably a good hour and 15 minutes going around the entire house, and I've got a list about this long of the various things that they looked at and recommendations they made. And there was a few trees we had growing up against the house. We had a spruce and some other things that posed a significant risk, so we had those cleared out within a few weeks.
The key elements that we're looking for in defensible space is to remove any dead, flammable vegetation from landscaping. What we're also looking for is homeowners to remove fire ladders. And what we're looking for when we ask for removal of fire ladders is separation between vegetation. What that does is slow down the fires. So lifting canopies off of plants, keeping ground cover and shrubs to a lower level, providing that separation, and then keeping vegetation away from their structure. And the closer vegetation is to their structure, keeping it lower, keeping it more well irrigated and green and really free of dead. Those are probably the biggest things that homeowners can do to maintain defensible space, even with their existing landscaping.
Defensible space isn't just a theory. It's a strategy with a proven track record. There are many stories highlighting the success of defensible space from the recent fires. One of the more notable happened here at the St. Mary's Seminary during the Tea Fire.
They had just done some clearance on the, I'd say it was the west-facing slope, and as the Tea Fire progressed westward, it hit this slope, and it was looking touch and go at that point. But because that vegetation had been removed, that fire hit that slope and it slowed down in intensity, and no structures were lost in St. Mary's because of that.
If you would like to see what defensible space looks like, the Fire Escape Garden at Stanwood Drive and Mission Ridge Road is a great place to start.
Although we provide books and pamphlets and there's access on the internet, a lot of people need hands-on reference, need to go and visualize the plants, see what they look like, see key examples of spacing and plant height, and that's what the Fire Escape Garden does. It's a really nice area that the city's set up for homeowners to take a walk through and see what it is that we're asking for when we're recommending different plants and different landscape types in the different zones within defensible space.
Other services provided in the assessment district focus on access and fuels management.
We offer chipping services for homeowners. Homeowners have the opportunity to take any vegetation that they've cut to clear that defensible space and put it out on the roadways to be picked up and hauled away. We also offer vegetation roadside clearance, and what that project does is help open up roadways to help homeowners leave the area and fire engines and firefighting resources to come into the area during an evacuation in times of emergency. And we also provide vegetation management projects where we work with large groups of private property owners to do clearance on the larger parcels. And what these areas do is they're strips of homes where if we go in and we can tie these neighborhoods together to do clearance, it becomes more effective and a better buffer at slowing down the fire in key areas throughout the high fire area of the city.
The initial phase of brush clearance on roads in the high fire hazard areas began in late August.
They're cutting back vegetation about 10 feet on either side and up to about 13 feet wherever they can, and they're doing it sensitively, so they're not hacking at the bushes. But we ask all the homeowners to realize that it is in the city municipal code that they're responsible for that vegetation and to keep it back.
Homeowner associations in the high fire hazard areas, like the Riviera Association, have been important partners in building and maintaining that understanding.
We've been working a lot with Amber Anderson and Ann Marks, basically both with the city fire department, and in several ways. One is to educate the Riviera residents that those resources are there, and to educate the residents about what the fire department's been trying to do. And then we also post the information on our website, and there's a road clearance program that's basically starting right now, and there's a schedule on the website that shows what streets will be cleared so residents can kind of see what to expect. And what's great about that, it gives them a chance to actually go out there and do some clearing on their own property, put those materials out by the street side, and when those crews come through, they'll go ahead and chip all that stuff, and if you want it, they'll put it back on your property. If you don't want the chip material, they'll haul it away and it's gone.
These homeowner associations are now joining together to establish a radio communications network that could provide a critical link in the case of any emergency.
So if we lose all communications and cell phones stop working, that network will still be here. And they can inform the fire department and sheriff where there are injuries or special help needed for people, or there's food or water issues that we've got to address. And so that'll be the communication network that will still be there, hopefully if we do have an earthquake or some other major event.
Firefighters say their efforts can only go so far. They say the key to successful wildfire results is personal responsibility.
I think the people that live in the high fire hazard areas and the extreme fire hazard areas understand that they're living with nature and that they're taking responsibility in their own hands for protecting, for providing for that buffer space, that defensible space around their own homes. As a city, as a fire department, we're here to help them, and so we offer a lot of resources and we provide a lot of benefits. But it's that personal responsibility that's the key component to success in this story.
The fire department will be here to help fight the fire and coordinate things, but it's got to be up to the individual homeowner to take their own action and be responsible for the outcome.
What we're seeing is homeowners understanding now what it means when we say we need clearance from the roadways or we need defensible space in this area. They're maintaining it, and that's where we can be more successful in the long run because we can apply the funds for the assessment district over broader areas.
For more information on defensible space, visit santabarbaraca.gov/wildland. The City of Santa Barbara is proud to be known as a leader in green practices. The recently released sustainability report highlights the many ways that the city and its residents are putting those practices into action. Every day, the City of Santa Barbara makes policy and operational decisions that can lead to both cost savings and benefits to the environment. The city has chosen to embrace sustainability, and the proof is in the project. Recently, the city installed the largest solar energy project in Santa Barbara at the city's corporate yard. Over 3 million pounds of food scraps were diverted from the landfill through the new Food Scraps Composting Program. 3 city facilities received green building certification, and city employees reduced their drive-alone commutes by 542,000 miles last year. These are only a few of the many ways that the City of Santa Barbara leads by example in sustainable practices. To see the many ways all departments are making a greener organization, the city has outlined their accomplishments in environmental programs in its 2010 Sustainability Achievement Report.
We're looking at ways that we've prevented waste, we've diverted from our landfill, how we're implementing renewable energy projects and being energy efficient in our buildings, and conserving water.
For the city, seeing these efforts laid out on paper, from recycled sources of course, is a reminder of the commitment they have made to be a sustainable organization.
About 5 years ago, the city signed on to the U.S. Climate Protection Agreement, and that closely mirrored the Kyoto Protocol targets for greenhouse gas emissions. And that would mean a 7% reduction from 1990 emissions. The city has now exceeded that target. Our emissions are now 11% lower than 1990 emissions for our city buildings and fleet.
And the city benefits from the lower emissions in more ways than a cleaner environment.
The city has saved a lot of money by implementing a number of projects that help the environment. So not only have we been protecting the environment, but we've also seen savings, cost savings that can be used for other programs in the city.
Last year alone, the city saved over $150,000 in energy costs as a result of energy efficiency projects. That translates into over 1 million kilowatt hours saved every year, which means ongoing cost savings.
Anywhere that we use energy in buildings, we're always looking for opportunities for savings there. So it could be anything from office equipment to lighting systems or heating systems or any system that uses energy.
Another area that saw major savings last year may not use electricity as its main power source, but it did save on other types of energy.
The city vehicles travel about 2.2 million miles over the last year. And over the last year, even though they traveled the same amount of miles, we were able to have a reduction of fuel consumed by about 5.3%. The amount of fuel consumed saves money. Not only is it a reduction in emissions in the atmosphere, but it was about 10,000 plus gallons of fuel that wasn't burned.
That reduction starts with the vehicle purchase. Motorpool tries to buy the right vehicle for the job, using smaller, more efficient vehicles whenever possible. 39% of the city's fleet uses alternative fuels, such as electric gas hybrids, natural gas, all-electric, zero-emission vehicles, and the entire diesel fleet uses B20 biodiesel.
We also do a number of other things. The Transportation Division encourages ride sharing and alternative transportation. The city's fleet department has held a number of driver education classes to help drivers understand what their role is in trying to conserve fuel, how their driving habits impact it. If we can reduce jackrabbit starts and hard braking, we can save 33% in fuel that way.
The education from the city's sustainable practices goes beyond city employees.
One example of cost savings that we've seen in the community is at the school districts as a result of their recycling and composting efforts, especially over the past couple years. They are now saving $90,000 a year on their trash bill, and that's money that can be put towards other school programs. We're preparing the next generation, and they are also bringing the things that they're learning back home and teaching their families the benefits of recycling and composting.
And while most environmental changes actually save organizations money in the long run, one city department implements green practices for a more fundamental reason.
The city of Santa Barbara, we've always practiced what is known as integrated pest management, or IPM. And we go through and operate on that stance because it's the right thing to do environmentally. Our movement is to always be green. You know, we're one of the leaders in the entire country to be green.
Those practices have led to an impressive 98% of the city's open spaces being what are referred to as green parks. This means that the majority of materials used are approved food grade or organic products.
We'll have signage that we also go through and place at the entrances of our parks so people know exactly what we're doing.
But the signs aren't the only things residents can learn from when visiting a city park. Many of the city's green landscaping practices can translate well into your lawn or garden. Methods like using mulch help keep the water in and the weeds out of our many open spaces and keeps them looking beautiful.
It's an excellent example of how anybody can go through and implement into their own home, in their own garden, the same things that we do here in our own park system. We practice using lots of mulch. We practice using propane flamers so we don't have to use pesticides in this park, basically herbicides. So we'll go through and burn out weeds. You know, we're very innovative when it comes to that. And this is one of the parks that you can come through and talk to our park staff, and they're more than willing to show you complete beds of where we're at and what types of materials that we use in order to be sustainable like we are.
You know, what's great about this is that the city is leading by example, and the public can look at our experiences, what we're doing, and say, you know, this does work. These hybrid vehicles do work. B20 biodiesel, it does work. And we've been running B20 since 2005. And you know, we've got a lot of experience there, and it does work.
There are great examples in the report of how residents and businesses can save money and protect the environment. The more you recycle, the more you compost, the more you're going to save in your trash bill, the less water you use, your water bill is going to go down. If you are able to upgrade your lighting and your air conditioning system at home, put in solar panels, you're going to see your electric bill go down. So the more you protect the environment, really, using some of these strategies, the more you're going to see a cost savings.
Residents can look to the city to find out about available rebates and the ways the city of Santa Barbara has retrofitted their buildings to help the environment and save money.
We offer a lot of suggestions on where they can go. They can visit the Southern California Edison website that has a lot of good information about the incentives that are available for homes. Right now there's a lot of tax credits that are available for retrofits, like weatherproofing your house or insulation, and all those things add up to savings.
In preparing the report, the city recognizes that issues related to energy efficiency, trash reduction, clean air and water, or green job creation do not stop at our facilities or our city limits.
It also showcases efforts in the community, businesses, residents, community organizations like the school district who have taken a leadership role in the environment, and it's making a difference in their bottom line.
To view the entire report online, just go to the city's website at santabarbaraca.gov and click on the Sustainable Santa Barbara link under the Quick Links tab. And also, in the months to come, watch out as we feature environmentally proactive businesses throughout the community. The city's libraries offer a wide variety of services for residents, but have you been by lately? Up next, Channel 18's Jeff Goodvin gives you plenty of reasons to stop by and check it out. The Santa Barbara Public Library System provides library services at the Central and East Side Libraries in Santa Barbara, in Solvang, Goleta, Carpinteria, Montecito, Santa Ynez, and Los Olivos. Our public libraries ensure community members have free access to a wide variety of materials and services. In 2009, the Central and East Side Libraries, our city branches, had over 622,000 visitors, checked out almost 750,000 items, provided over 250,000 computer sessions, and hosted hundreds of programs, story times, and class visits for children. The library connects community members of all ages, heritage, and socioeconomic backgrounds with high-quality resources and programs that aim to inform, educate, and enrich people's lives.
It's convenient, very, very convenient. And of course, for the children who live in this neighborhood, they can walk here. And I think that's, the advantage that I see to it.
Many people think of the library as a place to check out books. But how does that book get to you? When you check out a book, you can use one of the self-checkout stations. You can also renew materials on the internet or by phone.
The services are so wide in range, and there's just so many things to do in this library here. You have books, CDs, the computers.
What if the book you want isn't on the shelf? Or for that matter, what if the CD, DVD, audiobook, or magazine is in the catalog but not on the shelf at your library? You can place a hold on an item and have it delivered to your library for pickup. You may also reserve materials from your home, office, or library through the internet. Every day, hundreds of items are shipped between our libraries to better meet the needs of our users. Librarians are always available in person, by phone, or by computer to assist you. Do you need a repair manual for a classic 56 Chevy? Want to learn how to download audiobooks to play on a computer or MP3 player? Need help with your research project, whether it's a high school report or your next book? Interested in your family's genealogy or looking for grant opportunities? Want to set up an email account or get some computer coaching? The library's reference staff can help. The library also has online databases you can use. The reference department's professional staff will guide you through the wide range of resources available at the library.
A month ago, there was a librarian who helped me find Charles Dickens, and she told me where the books were and some places that I can specifically find about him. So without her, I don't think I would have found anything.
I would say, I have to find this out. And they would give me clues about how to look, where to look, how to dig out information that no one had been able to get. And also to be able to find a really helpful, friendly staff that I could call up and say, hi, I've got a really weird thing I need you to track down, and they'd be like bulldogs. Oh yeah, let's get it!
The library's Youth Services Department offers programs and services for children and families.
Especially moms that have little kids. Taken to the library, there is a program that they read books to them and they tell them stories, or like puppet stories that they bring into the programs in the library.
Soy el rey de la montaña.
All year long, the Central Library and all branch libraries offer story times for preschoolers. The Central Library provides a special infant story time weekly. In addition, Central and East Side host regular bilingual story times. During the summer, the library provides summer reading programs with fun incentives for children and teens.
I like mystery books, so I know where that section is. So whenever I get here, I go straight to that section and choose a book and then check it out. I get 2 or 3 at a time.
Each month, special performers such as musicians, magicians, and storytellers visit our libraries to perform for children and their families. During the summer, the library hosts a performance every week. The library recognizes the relationship between reading to young children, early library use, and successful learning. The library reaches low-income families and children through the preschool outreach program. Library storytellers visit participating preschools every month.
Books are so important. We do books every day in our classroom. It gives children words, vocabulary, it connects them to things that are happening in the world. The story that Oscar did today with the strawberry, they're all eating strawberries, they're learning about good health. And then again, his animation with the books, it just brings them to life for the children. So we really encourage, we send books home with our children. I go to the library as a teacher to get books for my classroom. It's just so valuable.
The library's Reading is Fundamental program distributes over 3,000 free books each year to second and third graders at participating public elementary schools.
Our parents felt so inspired by our willingness, your willingness to meet them again. They're incredibly thankful for the opportunity and the resources that the public library brings to them.
Through our Reach Out and Read program, the library works with county health clinics to provide brand new books to low-income children at their checkups. Volunteers provide free tutoring through the library's adult literacy program. Over 3,000 men and women have built their basic skills at the library over the past 23 years.
It's fun because they see the mom that she's learning, she's improving, and she knows a lot of things. Yeah. So.
Do you read with your daughters?
Oh yeah, I like to read, and they like me to read them. Until now, I'm still reading them at night before they go to bed.
If she wouldn't be able to speak Spanish or English, she couldn't help me on my homework.
One key to the quality of our service is volunteer support. Volunteers contribute thousands of hours each year, demonstrating the community's commitment to the library and reflecting the civic spirit associated with Santa Barbara. You can help your library by joining the Friends of the Library, a nonprofit organization dedicated to raising funds for library materials, programs, and services.
That's why I'm a friend of the library, because I really think that that's very important, that all children and young adults appreciate the wonders of being able to read.
We invite you to visit the library and see what's new. Whether you are a regular library user or you haven't dropped in since you were a kid, we bet you'll find something new and exciting. Your library is here for you.
It's something that we tend to think is always there, and especially in these tough economic times, to have the community come together and, you know, work, whether it's through Friends of the Library or a library board, to do what you can to make sure that the services are there for everybody.
To find out more about what our library system has to offer, visit sbplibrary.org. We'll be right back.
This municipal course is exceptional.
It's just in better shape than it's ever been before.
This is the place to be if you really want to learn how to play golf.
You get a great course for the price.
Definitely affordable.
Great values on merchandise in the pro shop.
It's a nice, friendly atmosphere.
Mention this ad for a free sleeve of balls with a round of play.
Is there anything more beautiful than diversion at breakfast time? Or helping to recover metal after feeding the dog? It's good for the earth. It's good for you. And recycling when paying bills is nothing short of gorgeous. Santa Barbara. Now recycling, that's sexy.
Oh, periscope. Can't see anything. Sir, the crew's concerned about the amount of disposable bags we have on board. I will not hear of such things. Flood torpedo tubes. Flood torpedo tubes. Fire torpedo! Fire torpedo! Sir, it's a misfire. Disposable bags are jamming the tube. Captain, we've got to get rid of these bags and start using canvas reusables! Mister, I will not hear of this talk of treason. All ahead full, right full rudder. All ahead full, right full rudder! Engineering, what's going on down there?
Sir, we've been sabotaged by disposable bags!
Okay.
Welcome back to Inside Santa Barbara. For many people, a lush green lawn means a nice place to sit outside and relax or play fetch with their dog. But it also means lots of water used to keep it alive and healthy.
Trivia question time. What's the largest irrigated crop in the U.S.? Give up? The answer could be in your yard. It's turf grass, and it's likely costing you more than you know. A 2002 Harris survey estimated Americans spend, on average, $1,200 a year on lawn care. Depending on how much you pay for water, that cost could be a lot more, since 50 to 70% of residential water goes to our lawns. Fortunately, there are now alternatives that allow you to have your lawn and afford it too.
UC Verde buffalo grass is a sustainable, user-friendly, and environmentally green substitute for the grass many of us currently use in our homes. You can find an example of the buffalo grass here at UCSB.
This would be a great grass for people that still like to have a lawn but are concerned about increasing water rates. Also people that might be looking to mow less and cut back on their carbon footprint on maintaining a lawn. It gives them an option of still having somewhat of a lawn area but without all the use of water and fuels for mowing.
Lawns use the most water of any plants in our community, and we are encouraging people to look at the different types of plant material that's out there. And there are a lot more options now for people to have that same lush green surface that you can recreate on and sit on that uses a lot less water, a lot less maintenance, and less chemicals.
UC Verde buffalo grass has been tested at UC Riverside, and they determined that UC Verde buffalo grass was using 75 to 80% less water than tall fescue, which would be our most common turf grass in Southern California.
Another water-wise lawn alternative is Carex praegracilis grass, which you can see at the Sheffield Reservoir.
And we are encouraging people to come up here. We're letting people know that these sites are maturing. This site has been, the Carex here has been in over a year, and is filling in really nicely. It's not quite filled in all the way, but very close.
You would think that if these lawn alternatives use so little water, they would have a different look and feel.
Most people wouldn't know that this is a buffalo grass unless they were told so, if it's been maintained as a groomed grass. The feel is very soft, and it's a grass that you want to be on the ground on, sitting on and picnicking. It's very friendly that way. I've been told that it's not an itchy grass, that you can roll in it, and I've found that to be true.
Although buffalo grass remains soft and inviting all year, it's a warm season grass, so it does have a dormant stage.
As a warm season grass, UC Verde will go off color in the winter, sort of a golden green or straw green color, typically for about 12 to 14 weeks. Generally around December 1st, it will make this color change. The look is quite acceptable to many people. It just gives a feel of winter.
Clients know this beforehand, and they mow it down a little bit before the dormancy. It's something that they just go with. They like the native feel to it and the look.
Unlike your typical lawn grass, UC Verde buffalo grass is planted in plugs. The plugs spread to create a seamless green carpet within 10 to 20 weeks after planting. Because it's a warm season grass, it's best planted in the summer.
It's a female sterile grass, which is why it has such a low pollen count, so it's considered to be an allergy-friendly grass. Buffalo grass spreads only above ground, and this is how the grass fills in. And this type of a grass is, in the turf industry, considered to be a self-repairing grass, so that if there's a divot or some sort of damage done to the grass, it will quickly fill in that area.
Those runners allow the UC Verde buffalo grass to remain people and pet friendly all year.
It's a really vigorous rooting lawn, so it doesn't damage it. Kids can play on it. It grows to about 6 inches, and you can mow it if the kids want to play on it, or you can just let it go and just be very natural, soft looking.
It's an ideal grass for events, and this is why we're here at the Loma Pelona Center. They use this grass for people out on the lawn for meetings. It'll take heavy traffic and come right back. So it's a very good grass, very durable grass for that purpose.
We're really fortunate now in our community and in the West. We have a lot of different options besides the traditional high water using lawns, and the city is providing this information and doing these demonstrations to bring more awareness and education about what our options are.
In Santa Barbara, the quality of water in our creeks and ocean is an important indicator of our environment's health. We see how the Creeks Division is restoring habitat for a species that may be one of the best and most endangered water quality testers around. For thousands of years, the steelhead trout was relied upon for sustenance by denizens of the Central Coast. They are a part of our history.
They were part of Chumash subsistence when the Chumash occupied this area, and then later in creeks throughout Santa Barbara County and the Santa Ynez River, there were large populations of steelhead, and the first settlers to this area used steelhead and caught steelhead as a part of their food supply as well.
Yet the steelhead's significance in our past has not guaranteed it a place in our future. Populations of the fish have been severely reduced, mainly due to human-made barriers to its spawning areas. Since the beginning of the century, it is estimated that the steelhead populations in Southern California dwindled to less than 1% of their former numbers. Due to this drastic reduction, the Southern California steelhead trout population, which includes Santa Barbara County, has been federally designated as an endangered species by the National Marine Fisheries Service. But thanks to the work of the city's Creeks Division, one local creek is getting a makeover that could help turn things around.
We have three structures that are totally impassable for steelhead in Mission Creek. One is called the Caltrans channels, and it's a concrete flood control channel. It's a mile long, and we're working on a fish passage project there. The second one is here at Oak Park at Talent Road. Under the bridge is a concrete bridge abutment and then an apron coming off of the abutment going downstream when the water passes over that concrete, it's too shallow and moving too quickly for the fish to swim through. And then upstream at Highway 192, there is another bridge that's got the exact same problems we have here at Talent Road, and we're working with the Kachuma Operations and Maintenance Board on a project up there that they will construct, and then we'll be able to get fish all the way up to Rattlesnake Canyon and Upper Mission Creek.
In order to do this, the Creeks Division began work at Oak Park underneath the Talent Road Bridge to clear the first of these barriers.
We're removing a bunch of concrete and stuff that was in the creek. We're relocating a sewer line, which gets exposed sometimes and is broken in the past and just isn't in a good location for a sewer line. And then we're modifying under the bridge there that you can see in the background so that steelhead trout can swim through this section of creek.
Yet it was critical for the Creeks Division to make sure that the benefits to the fish did not compromise flood control capabilities.
We have to do all kinds of modeling and studies to make sure that it doesn't impact flooding at all, and this project is good. Doesn't impact flooding, won't make the situation any worse at all in this area of the creek.
One way the project will increase the fish friendliness of this passage is by creating small, pool-like areas.
So that the fish have a place to rest, and then they swim up, and they have another place to rest, and they can swim up much better than right now, which was here, which was just concrete, and then a really big pool that was hard for them to jump out of, and just a difficult situation all the way around for them to swim in.
Even though the main purpose of the project is to clear the way for the steelhead, the benefits will reach beyond the creek bank.
Each of our projects is also a creek restoration project that provides additional habitat and water quality benefits to the creek. This project here in Oak Park includes the addition of 1,500 native plants that will not only help filter out pollutants in the water, but provide habitat for other animals, birds, and other mammals that live along the creek's edge.
Though the project was completely funded through grants and Measure B, some might still question the importance of restoring habitat for a single species of fish. To answer that question, you can look at the steelhead trout as not merely a fish, but also a bellwether of the health of our entire environment. The three primary requirements for fish habitat, low toxicity, low temperature, and high dissolved oxygen content, are the same parameters biologists have encouraged public agencies to honor for optimal water quality standards. In the end, what's good for the steelhead is actually good for humans too.
If you're able to have a species like that survive in your stream, then it's a pretty good indicator, that's why they call it an indicator species a lot of times, that the creek is in fairly good shape. In other words, the water quality is pretty good. We have a nice riparian canopy like we do here in much of the creek. There's upper areas where there's good food and good water for them, and that's a good way to be able to measure whether we're taking care of our local environment.
By taking care of our environment, hopefully many more people will have the opportunity to witness this unique species right in our backyard.
We haven't had any steelhead reports this year, but in 5 of the last 7 years, we've actually seen steelhead swimming up Mission Creek. They're swimming up. It's amazing to see these fish.
All 3 fish passage restoration projects should be completed by 2013. For more information on creek restoration and water quality testing, visit sbcreeks.org. We'll be right back.
I just had my weekly lecture about spending too much money.
What do you have to say this time?
I couldn't understand most of it. All I could get was pesos don't grow on trees.
There they are, ready to go to dinner. Fred's buying.
I'll be right back. I'm going to get my other wallet. This one has my money in it.
Fred, I have a plan. Do you want to hear it?
Lucy, we're still recuperating from your last plan.
I want to start a recycling program for the apartment building.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Oh, Ricky! Fred will listen to you. Tell him I have a wonderful plan for the building that won't cost him a cent.
Let's see. My scatterbrain wife has another half-witted scheme. If you listen to it, you're out of your mind.
Boy, did that suffer in translation. Fred, it will help the environment and lower the apartment's trash bill, which means money in your pocket.
Lucy, this is one scheme that makes sense. Dollars and cents.
This municipal course is exceptional.
It's just in better shape than it's ever been before.
This is the place to be if you really want to learn how to play golf.
You get a great course for the price.
Definitely affordable.
Great values on merchandise in the pro shop.
It's a nice, friendly atmosphere.
Mention this ad for a free sleeve of balls with a round of play.
Oh, Periscope. Can't see anything. Sir, the crew is concerned about the amount of disposable bags we have on board. I will not hear of such things. Flood torpedo tubes. Flood torpedo tubes. Fire torpedo! Fire torpedo! Sir, it's a misfire. Disposable bags are jamming the tube. Captain, we've got to get rid of these bags and start using canvas reusables! Mister, I will not hear of this talk of treason. All ahead full, right full rudder. All ahead full, right full rudder! Engineering, what's going on down there?
Sir, we've been sabotaged by disposable bags!
Okay.
Welcome back to the show. Recently, elected officials from Santa Barbara and Goleta teamed up to check on the construction progress at the Santa Barbara Airport. City TV went along to bring the latest to you.
Being the only regional airport in the area, Santa Barbara's new airport terminal is being anticipated by more than just one city. That's why airport officials invited representatives from the city of Goleta along with Santa Barbara City Council members on the latest tour of the facility.
The airport serves both communities, and City of Santa Barbara is well aware of that, and we're, we want to please the City of Goleta as much as possible, so having them in as part of the project is very important to us.
Santa Barbara Airport is really a regional airport, and we rely on our colleagues to the west or north of us in the City of Goleta to work with us, and we're very happy that they were able to join us on the tour, and they've really been with us every step of the way in putting this terminal together. And so when people finally land at the airport and they're going to see the sign, welcome to Goleta and Santa Barbara, it just highlights that great partnership.
The new terminal will have 5 boarding gates and state-of-the-art glass boarding bridges. There will also be the classic accoutrements like a restaurant and gift shop.
This terminal is so needed for a lot of reasons. One is, after security, you can go to the bathroom. You can use the restrooms. I know that's been a big issue. And if you're checking baggage and it's raining out, they're not going to get wet anymore. I mean, I think the security measures that have changed over time has really made our beautiful and quaint airport just really obsolete. And so this is going to create a gorgeous Santa Barbara-style, beautiful airport that is going to be functional and allow people to enjoy traveling.
Goleta and Santa Barbara Council members liked what they saw.
I think they were interested in all of it in terms of, where concessions would be, and we pointed out where the various public art pieces would be, and they were very interested in that. The departure lounge, that there would be ample seating, and they could see that there's space for ample seating. And I think just the views also from the second story were pretty outstanding for them.
Wow, it was, it was exciting to see the vision come to this first step of reality of, the walls being up and the beams being in. And what was fascinating is the talk about functionality to architecture to art. It's going to have all those elements. So I'm excited now.
So far, everything, except a minor setback due to rain, is going as planned.
We started construction on the main terminal about almost a year ago now, and we have completed the first and second floor foundations, the slabs. We've completed all the structural steel. We're about 70% complete with the metal stud framing. When we complete with that, it will allow us to start the installation of the lath and plaster, which allows us to waterproof the building. We're also starting the roofing, and that is, of course, the second part of getting the building watertight. So that's undergoing construction right now as well.
We're on budget and pretty much on schedule, so it's I couldn't ask for any better, and I'll keep my fingers crossed.
The next phase of the project, moving the old terminal, will begin when the new terminal officially opens.
I'm just really excited for it to happen, and just encourage our residents to stay patient during the construction period. We're doing everything we can to make things as smooth as possible, but you're really going to like the final product.
For the latest on the airport construction, visit flysba.com. Santa Barbara is a bustling city with transportation of all kinds, from cars and scooters to buses and beach cruisers. But with so many different modes, sharing the road is essential to keeping Santa Barbara the dynamic city that it is.
As we all know, not all vehicles are created equal. Sharing roadways becomes especially important for bicyclists and motorists whose safety is at stake on busy streets. While bike lanes on wide streets are effective in keeping cyclists and motorists safely separate, narrower streets leave cyclists with little room to avoid opening car doors and motorists free from swerving cyclists. In an effort to prevent these types of accidents, the city began installing shared lane markings, or sharrows, on streets with high bike-car collision rates.
Research done in San Francisco has shown that using sharrows in the road, drivers give more space to the cyclists while riding on the roadway while passing them, and bicyclists give themselves more room between themselves and parked car doors and mirrors, making it safer for all users of the road.
After 3 years of safe sharrowing on those streets, the city is expanding the project to include a number of streets where the sharrow could be useful.
Sharrows is their nickname. The shared lane markings are defined by the California Manual of Uniform Traffic Control Devices. And what it says is that the sharrows are 9 feet long. The logo, it consists of 2 chevrons which show the direction of travel and a bicyclist logo. And they have to be located only where there's parking along the roadway and where there's no bike lane already there. They have to be located at least 11 feet out from the curb itself.
The sharrow is meant to invite bicyclists to ride completely in the lane with motorists on streets where there are at least 2 lanes in each direction. Motorists, in turn, are expected to treat cyclists in the sharrow lanes as slow-moving vehicles and pass them on the left. The idea is to avoid the common causes of bike and car collisions.
So if you have a vehicle, say a 3,000-pound vehicle traveling down the road, and you have a bicyclist, it can get pretty hairy, especially if the car gets too close. Now, if you have somebody in a vehicle who is using a cell phone or not paying attention, they have a tendency to maybe waver a little bit or swerve. And if they go into a bicyclist, then you're going to have a pretty tragic accident.
If you're right in front of a car, they'll see you. There's no doubt about it. If you're off to the side, they may not see you. And the danger of opening a door, I think it's about 5% of bicycles crashes involve car doors opening into them. And that's a serious situation.
One tactic many cyclists use to avoid cars on busy streets is riding on the sidewalk. This, however, can do more harm than good.
Part of the problem that we have with education is that we assume that if we know how to ride a bicycle, we know how to ride one safely and legally, and that is not always true. And every time we see someone on the road or a cyclist on the road runs a stop sign, breaks the law, weaves between lanes, things that are not legal or safe, they are not only endangering themselves, but they're setting up a bad example and a bad experience, which reflects on the rest of us and creates problems.
A bicyclist, again, has to follow the same rules as a vehicle. So my advice to bicyclists would be pretend that the other driver has not seen you unless you actually make eye contact with that person. And sometimes when you have a vehicle where the windows are tinted and you can't see that, then assume that that person has not seen you and drive with even more caution.
The research in San Francisco shows that using sharrow markings in the roadway reduces the number of cyclists riding on the sidewalks and wrong way riding on the streets. And anyone who's driven a car in Santa Barbara or walked down a sidewalk has probably faced some frustrations with people riding their bikes on the sidewalks or riding the wrong way on the road. Most of the crashes that are caused by bicyclists are actually because they're riding on the sidewalk or riding the wrong way on the street. So using these markings actually increase safety because people feel more comfortable using the road, which is the correct and safe place for them to be visible to all users of the road, to be visible to the people driving, and out of the way of people walking on the sidewalks.
The introduction of sharrows doesn't mean a change in the status quo. Cyclists have always had the right to ride in the same lanes as motorists, but many are hesitant for a variety of reasons.
It's challenging to, get more people to cycle on streets that don't have any indication that cyclists are welcome. Okay, if there's no bike lane, then very few people are comfortable getting out there and riding in the traffic lane. And we can't get more folks out cycling, particularly women with children, particularly older people, if we don't create an environment where bicyclists are welcome. So the Sharrow is really a welcoming device. It's really an attempt to encourage safe sharing of the roads. In the case of cyclists trying to share roads that don't have any kind of markings, is we tend to see motorists veering around cyclists very quickly, being impatient when they're behind cyclists, encourages motorists to slow down and wait until there's a safe time to go around the cyclist.
Mia Burke has acted as the bicycle program manager for the City of Portland and a consultant for promoting bicycle-friendly city planning internationally. The Sharrow has been utilized in the United States for over a decade, evolving from unique innovation to go-to solution.
You know, the Sharrows have been kind of evolving for a long time. Denver and Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and San Francisco had been really the cities that had started putting in Sharrows. But there were also dozens of European cities that had put in variations on the Sharrow. But I was, as a consultant, hired by the city of San Francisco to experiment with Sharrows. The city of San Francisco is a city with lots of pretty narrow streets and a lot of competition for that street space, and a lot of people parking and a lot of people already cycling. We did a study of 10 streets where we experimented with a couple of different types of markings, and we found that the Sharrow helps position cyclists correctly outside the door zone. We found that cyclists said overwhelmingly that it increased their feelings of safety. We also found that motorists overwhelmingly said they liked the Sharrow. It helped them understand that cyclists were going to be on the road. So basically, San Francisco got the ball rolling in the biggest way. They took the biggest leap forward. Then California took the next big leap forward, and then the national guidelines followed. Cities all throughout the United States are using them now.
The Sharrow's integration into Santa Barbara's transportation system is expected to be seamless, as the symbol only reinforces established rules of the road.
Just seeing that on the road indicates that there will be bicyclists in this location. So, people see it and they know that the bicyclist knows and the driver knows what's going to be happening.
The Sharrow and bike lanes are tools to help invite cyclists, and the Sharrow is one of the small steps in the right direction.
Santa Barbara is one of about a dozen cities to incorporate the Sharrow into its transit system. For more information on bicycle safety, visit santabarbaraca.gov. Well, the Where's Your Bag Prize Patrol has done it again, this time at Scolari's on Milpas Street, and Channel 18's Chris Bell was there for all the fun.
The Where's Your Bag Prize Patrol was at it again, looking for shoppers who chose to use a reusable bag. This time they rewarded a shopper at Scolari's on Milpas.
Hello, ma'am. I'd like to congratulate you for using your reusable bag, and this is a gift certificate from Scolari's for doing so.
Thank you very much. I did get this bag with wine.
You got it with wine.
And then I took the dividers out, and now I'm using it as a shopping bag.
The city, along with sponsors, the California Grocers Association, and participating stores are promoting reuse because it makes a difference. Californians use 19 billion plastic bags a year, most of which are not recycled. Some of these bags end up in the ocean, killing hundreds of thousands of sea creatures a year. And paper bags aren't any better. Their production uses huge amounts of resources and energy. Campaign organizers say many shoppers have reusable bags, but forget to bring them. The Prize Patrol is a friendly reminder.
I keep them in my car, in the trunk of my car, and every time I go in, take a bag.
And Greta wasn't the only winner. Dozens of shoppers were surprised with free reusable bags to carry their groceries home in. The Where's Your Bag campaign offers staff training and educational materials to support participating stores. Some stores like Scolari's even offer incentives for customers who use reusable bags.
What we do is we do a discount as far as each person, for every bag that they use, they bring in, we give them a discount of 5 cents each bag.
The goal of the campaign is to promote reuse so it becomes the norm, and everyone has a positive answer to the question, where's your bag?
I have my bags.
Yeah. So don't forget your reusable bag the next time you go to the market, because you could be the next winner. For more information, visit where'syourbag.com. Well, that does it for this month's episode of Inside Santa Barbara. If you have any questions or comments about the show, give us a call at City TV at 564-5311. You can always watch the show online at citytv18.com. I'm your host, Dominique Blocker. Remember to get involved inside Santa Barbara.
Is there anything more beautiful than diversion at breakfast time? Or helping to recover metal after feeding the dog? It's good for the earth. It's good for you. And recycling when paying bills is nothing short of gorgeous. Santa Barbara. Now recycling, that's sexy.
This municipal course is exceptional.
It's just in better shape than it's ever been before.
This is the place to be if you really want to learn how to play golf.
You get a great course for the price.
Definitely affordable.
Great values on merchandise in the pro shop.
It's a nice, friendly atmosphere.
Mention this ad for a free sleeve of balls with a round of play.
Oh, Periscope. Can't see anything.
Sir, the crew is concerned about the amount of disposable bags we have on board.
I will not hear of such things.
Flood torpedo tubes. Flood torpedo tubes.
Fire torpedo!
Fire torpedo! Sir, it's a misfire. Disposable bags are jamming the tube. Captain, we've got to get rid of these bags and start using canvas reusables!
Mister, I will not hear of this talk of treason. All ahead full, right full rudder.
All ahead full!
Right full rudder!
Engineering, what's going on down there?
Sir, we've been sabotaged by disposable bags! Okay.
Rediscover your sense of Santa Barbara. Stearns Wharf, you're on to something. No matter where you surf, your favorite wave begins right here, on your street. That's because storm drains lead straight to our creeks and ocean. When water washes into storm drains, pollutants like detergents, oil, and pet waste go along for the ride. Help keep our creeks and beaches clean. Take your car to a car wash and always pick up after your pet. Remember, the ocean begins on your street.